So good morning. We are from the Brown Coffee and Bakery Group, and we are here to present to you about this brown coffee of opening and planning to expanding its market to South Africa and Ethiopia environment. Next slide. So we will be covering six contents, which the first content will be talking about the introduction to Ethiopia and South Africa. Next, we will talk about the demography and people's perspective. Thirdly, we will talk about the macro environment. The fourth will be the microenvironment. Fifth will be the strategies. And last but not least, we will be talking about why brown cannot enter the Ethiopian market.
Introduction to Ethiopia. Ethiopia is currently the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. Ethiopia is one of the landlocked countries that is located away from the Eritrea in the north, Djibouti to the northeast, Somalia to the east, Kenya to the south, and South Sudan to the west. The overall area is land is 1,010,000 square kilometers, and the capital city is Addis Ababa. In 2020, according to Worldmeter, Ethiopia's population is more than 114 million. And in addition, this country is known as a country that has never been colonized by another country.
And now the introduction to South Africa. South Africa is officially the Republic of South Africa. And South Africa is the southest country in the Africa. And it has a total area of 1,221,037 square kilometers. In South Africa, there are three capital cities: Cape Town, Pretoria, and Bloemfontein. And this country has 11 different languages.
So let's get to know more about the demography of South Africa and Ethiopia. Ethiopia is the second most populous country with a population of more than 109 million people. According to the International Monetary Fund in 2019, GDP growth was at 7.4%. For this year, it is expected to slightly decrease to 7.2% and reduce slightly to 9.1% in 2021. The GDP per capita of Ethiopia is $857.501 that make it one of the poorest countries on earth. The vast majority of Ethiopians live in a poorly built houses. The major cities are Addis Ababa, Daidawa, Mekelle, and Nazareth. Ethiopia is the sixth largest coffee producer in the world and the eighth largest coffee exporter. The agricultural sector contributes to around a third of the Ethiopia GDP, but is considered the foundation of the country economy as it employs more than 2/3 of the workforce. Population in South Africa is relatively young. The inhabitants account for 65.85% in the urban area. The GDP per capita account for $6,160. The purchasing power is very limited for many inhabitants, since more than half of the population live below the national poverty line and the unemployment rate is very high. However, purchasing power is rising in 2018, and it is expected to continue growing in 2019. Social and income inequality are very high in South Africa, and due to the minimal increase in wage and the rising of the price of the product, consumers sometimes have a very tight budget. Assumption is not as massive as in a Western country, and South Africa tend to watch their finances. The major cities in terms of density are the city of Johannesburg, Cape Town, and Durban. About 46.6% of the population is under 25 years old, and 45.3% is 20 to 50 years old, and 8.1% is over 50 years old. The South African government estimates that 80.2% of the population is Black, and 8.8% mestizo, 8% white, and 2.5% Asian. Internet penetration has been rising in recent years, and this is reflected in the revolution of the online sale. The rise of the internet penetration has changed the form of market in South Africa into an online sale. Next slide, please.
And about people perspective, next slide. People perspective in Ethiopia. The coffee culture in Ethiopia is very unique of its own, and it might different from how other culture would like to taste coffee and a way to make it. Culturally speaking, in Ethiopia, coffee is as iconic as the East. In the East as the tea, the symbol of essence of this time honor is to practice just much as national identity as the tea ceremony in Japan. In Ethiopia, coffee is the center of social life, and the result is not only about the drinking coffee, but it also provides feeling of family and membership. Also, every day, many families hold an elaborate coffee ceremony in their home. It is an important practice in Ethiopia and a way of getting together and socializing. In an interview, they said Ethiopia loves coffee, and coffee is the source of their income and their price. And about 80% of Ethiopia life, and it's the number one income that they earn from the foreigner. Every day, Ethiopia drink 4 cups of powerful Arabica every day on the average. Next slide. And South Africa. Just like the other country, South Africa has the idea of drinking coffee each day relatively similar. However, coffee was not consumed as much as it is compared to today. The consumption of coffee is moving past among South Africa by year. Not only everyday custom, but it turned out to be a piece of life that they do every day. And an autonomous espresso outlet has expanded from 52 to over 200 in the last 4 years. And in South Africa, demand for premium specialty coffee is clearly growing. Our customer interested in Nespresso and capsule and pod-based coffee offer to continue rise. Special method for brewing coffee such as an AeroPress often draw an attention of many customers. And in South Africa, increasing of opulence and changing shopper tastes have brought it interesting among gathering a high quality coffee and item, for example, an enchanted espresso. And additionally, millennials are more like to try various paths of a new drink and brand. And the flavor are older shopper, and it often said that the taste of coffee is just one of the thing, but what they want is the experience. And moreover, the South Africa people, they like to drink, sit, and enjoy their mug and enjoy their coffee. That.
Unmute.
Okay, so now let's talk about the macro environments. There are 3 points that we have mentioned in the macro environment. For the first one is about the government policy. So before you start to trade, you must have a valid certificate of the acceptability which need to apply and complete at your local Department of Environment and Health. Foreign residents need to pay a tax in South Africa as the local citizens. However, the non-resident taxpayers are only taxed on the incomes earned in the South Africa. For the resident taxpayers must pay the tax on the worldwide incomes. There are a number of the countries that have a tax treaty with South Africa, such as Australia, Japan, Sweden, and the United Kingdom, also the United States. In this case, it can help you to avoid double taxation in your home country. If not, then you may be able to claim a foreign tax credit on the tax paid on foreign income. The tax applied at the standard rate of 28% unless you register with the turnover tax. And in Ethiopia, company tax is about 30%. Tax rate for the foreign company resident entity are the tax on the worldwide income, like which means as the same as the South Africa, whereas the non-resident are taxed on the Ethiopia source income. A company is considered resident for tax purpose if it is registered according to the Ethiopia's law on commercial registrations or if it's effective management in Ethiopia. So the second point in our macro environment, we are going to talk about the natural environment. And there are several reasons why coffee beans from South Africa are unique compared to other beans. Coffee and South Africa has always been a combination because of the coffee growing began in that region. Such statistics from the Rainforest Alliance show it is the second largest globally that exported coffee to the worldwide. And for the first exportation is being with the crude oil. One thing to realize about the South Africa's coffee is those in the coffee business, they are take it extremely serious. They has a passion for crafting the best fruit and it send out their product. There are 25 million coffee farmers in South Africa, with most of those in the North Africa. So it means that North Africa are planting most coffee than South Africa's. And South Africa is growing its coffee farming, although it doesn't have a lot of large farms that can produce enough commercially to compete with those in the North Africa. And another thing those in the coffee business are doing to make the South Africa's the South Africa's coffee bean the best in the world. It's begin to foreign barista talent who know that who know how to plant the coffee very well. And in Ethiopia, it is also the most unique coffee bean in the country, and there are three main regions where Ethiopia oriented the coffee beans such as Pari, Bimbi, and Sidamon.
So technology is the last point of the macro environment. For the first country, they don't use much technology. Like most of the shop, they accept only the cash payment. For the rand is the official currency of South Africa. So it is smart to carry both ZAR and US dollar in South Africa because many shops and restaurants will accept credit card, but for the merchant, at the small and local business, may only accept cash typically in ZAR. And for many of the African national park, will only accept US dollar for their entry fee and some tourist activities such as safari, and for another tour will require that you pay and give them a tip in a US dollar. So for one South African rand equal 240.93 Cambodian real. For the let's move to the technology in Ethiopia. The birr is the official currency of Ethiopia. For the cash payment, it's not valid a sub in Ethiopia. Therefore, visitors should prepare for cash transaction when they go to visit Ethiopia. There are only a few hotels which mainly capital city of Addis and Ababa that accept a credit card. And for the most of the restaurant in the Ethiopia only accept the cash payment. And for one Ethiopian birr equal 116.59 Cambodian real. So there is another factor that we need to conduct our study on before we enter to the South Africa and Ethiopia market. That is the microenvironment. So generally, we can see that the age range that assume more coffee is from the age of 16 to the age of 35. And that is the age where people are busy with their study as well as their work. People need a lot of energy in order to be focused and be productive. So they need a coffee to make them more awake and do more work. From here, we can formulate and come to the conclusions that our target customer for both the country is from the age of 16 and to the age of 35. And according to our study about South Africa, we can see that South African from the age of 25 to the age of 50 account for 45.3%. But on the other hand, for Ethiopia, only 20.18% from the age range of between 15 and 24 years old, and 29.73% for the age of 25 to 55 years old. If we take a look at the percentage, we can see that Ethiopia market is very small for us to expand our store. Next slide, please. Next slide, please.
So now let's move on talking about we open our market in the Ethiopian and South Africa. So the competitors in South Africa, as we can see in here, is that those kind of coffees includes very much brand coffees like McCafe, Vida A Cafe, Seattle Cafe, and as well as Starbucks. These are all of the famous coffee shops that are located in South Africa. And also there are some other best coffee shops in South Africa, which namely they are Father Coffee, The Factory Coffee, Rosetta Roastery, Espresso Lab, Tribe Coffee. And all of these coffee brands could be our competitors because their main menu is exactly coffee and they already enter and move the South Africa market. So people might have known about their brands before we enter, and they might have been some of the loyal customers at some of the stores like McCafe or Starbucks Coffee. So for the next uh, competitor is in Ethiopia. So most of them, since Ethiopia doesn't have as many coffee shops as South Africa does, some of the best coffee shops include such as Tomoka, Caldi's Coffee, Bake and Brew, Delaney Coffee, Natani, Garden of Coffee, and La Parisienne, which all these coffee shops already have good environment, which most of them get the ranking of like 4 to 4.5 from their customers, which is very at a very high standard already. And these coffee shops are for upper middle class or high class people to go there. And some shops offer a good food menu as well as some desserts for customers, which is really similar to Brown. So we can see that our competitors are very similar to what we offer. So that is why we need to understand what they offer so that we can know what we could improve to fit with the environment for our customer.
So here is our four marketing strategy to enter South Africa. For the first one, we will talk about decorations. For next slide. For the decoration of our shop, seen in Cambodia, like we do our like decoration is more like Western, but we do a research and any like coffee shop that provide customer a book. Therefore, we come up with this idea that like we will decor our shop to look more natural, like which means that we will plant a little tree in a wooden bookshelf, and the plant and their soil will be placed in the like Mashula wooden planter. For the Mashula wooden planter are supported by a structure made from a ribbed steel bar, typically used in a like laying of rainford concerts, and that a Mashula planter look like a crib, which will afford like a space that we can grow a plant in that. And like the reason why we came up with this idea, like we plant a little tree in our coffee shop because we saw that plant has provided us a lot. It can help us to improve air, reducing stress, also like make people calmer and happier. So as the plant grow, the modular quality of the design let them move around on the routine basic. So like one more thing, like like the important point is that modular we can put some the book in there, and when the customer come to visit our coffee shop, they will enjoy with a new view. Like our coffee shop will welcome our consumer to like not only for the quality of the coffee but also the clean accesses. For the outside of our coffee, we will like plant some a big tree, which means that they can enjoy with the some fresh air. To sum up this idea, it means that we will provide our customer a comfortable environment, quiet place, and also some book for them to read, which means that students can come to study or hang out with their friends, and also worker can come to work and relax here with a nice view and enjoy with our coffee.
So for the second strategy that we come up with is about the homemade coffee. We offer this in our shop because we know that people in South Africa like to do their homemade coffee, and also they prefer something cheap, which is not like spend too much money for their daily life. For the homemade coffee that we plan to do here is to provide the certification to customer according to their living style. However, we cannot offer all the coffee menu for them to make by their own, such as smoothie, which need to be mixed in the machine. So it can be harder for us to do. In case, we will design the table to put all the coffee ingredient and provide the formula to the customer and let them do it according to their style, or like they can do like what they want. And if they want more sweet of coffee, they can add it on our formula that we provide. And the strategy will cost us to use less labor because customers serve by themselves. It means that we don't need a lot of customer service in our shop to serve them.
The third strategy is about delivery service. And based on the study that we have conducted, we gathered that the internet penetration in South Africa is 2 times higher than in Cambodia. It means that we can see the internet play a very big role in South African daily life. They have changed their buying behavior from a face-to-face buying to an online buying that they can just do with one click. In order to enter South Africa's market, we need to come up with a strategy that effectively responds to the internet evolution. We come up with the strategy of offering the delivery service. We believe that it must to have a delivery service when we have expand our brown coffee to the South African market. Not having a delivery service make our brown coffee lag behind our competitor who clearly understand the buying behaviors of the target customer, even though we provide the customer a full taste of coffee. Moreover, we will have partnership with the food delivery company in South Africa, such as Uber Eats, Order In, Appetite, and many other food delivery company. Our delivery men are equipped with the Google Map. Google Map has many advanced features that allow us to know the distance from delivery mean location to the customer house, the time it will take to reach the customer house, and it also load up with the orange or red color that alert us that there will be a traffic, so the delivery man will find another road.
So now let's moving on to talking about our third strategy, which is about the coffee app. So as being mentioned, we have the idea to create something that is quite convenient for the customers. So we basically want to create something for the customer to look up for prices or the products that we offer in our store. So it gives an option for the customers to look up what they're interested in before they head to the store to make their purchase. However, the idea of creating this app isn't for in-store preparation only, but to also keep the customers updated whenever we make any changes to our services. Let the example be promotions. Sometimes customers only hear about promotions from mouth to mouth, and sometimes the information isn't as efficient or true as it compared to our updated app. So by using the app, customers will be notified whenever there are new promotions in store that the customers would like to check out at the store or make any of their purchases online. The main purpose of designing this app is to give the customer a more reliable customer service and convenience. Not many coffee shops have the app, and customers usually have to go to the store to look at the menu. And to sum it up, the reason why we created this coffee app in general is to give convenience to the customer. And it would also be more beneficial for customer to save their time before they head to the store to make any purchases, or they want to make home orders, which will be very convenient for them as well.
So now let's move to the last part of our presentation is about the brown should not enter Ethiopia market. So our team decided that brown coffee cannot enter to the Ethiopia. This is because according to the world, sorry guys, sorry, the long past slide without it. Okay, now let's move to the last part of our presentation is about the brown should not enter the Ethiopia market. So according to what we researched, the World Bank say that Ethiopia's GDP per capita is only $867.501 per year. And if we take that number divided into the month, we get 71.450 $45. So we think that they cannot offer to buy a lot of coffee or to buy the other things have the high price. So brown is also a brand's coffee and it would cost a high price. And if they get only the average income of the Ethiopia is only that amount, we know that they cannot offer to buy a brown. And as we already mentioned in the competitors slide, there are several coffee brands in Ethiopia, and that coffee brand is only offered to the high class people in Ethiopia. So if we take the brown into Ethiopia again, it would be a lot of competition. It means that the market of coffee in Ethiopia is really small because we only offer to the high class people. So that's all about the reason that we decide that trans cannot enter to the. And here is our reference. Thank you.
Thank you for your attention.
Presentation. Thank you. Goodbye.